the pageant nerd, and I thought it was about time I waded into the debate of the moment about the sharing by Miss Universe owners of transphobic comments made by Elon Musk and Donald Trump Jr. after Denmark's victory at Miss Universe. And on top of that, the statement by Kun An that the evolution of beauty pageants is complete by the crowning of a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman. As many of you know, I was fortunate enough to be in Mexico recently for the 73rd Miss Universe. And indeed, I was in the room when Kun An made those statements about evolution. But the fact so many of my esteemed fellow pageant YouTubers, and even some major media outlets, have rightly highlighted these comments already. Frankly, I don't think there's anything more I can meaningfully add to this discussion. So instead of expressing my own outrage, I wanted to come at this situation from a different and hopefully fresh angle. If you followed my channel for some time, you know that I have a reasonably progressive viewpoint on many of today's social issues, and that includes my support for transgender rights, both in society in general, and also in mainstream beauty pageants. If you don't share these views, that's fine. I respect your right to do so. But when the likes of Elon and Donald Jr. gleefully and sarcastically made those remarks via social media, even though a trans woman has yet to win Miss Universe, well, you can guess my reaction. I'm not here today to judge whether Raoul's and Kun An's decision to share these comments was correct, misguided, or merely an attempt at humour or to leverage the moment. What I do want to do today is to take you briefly back, more or less, to the genesis of this issue. And that is when the rules were changed that allowed transgender women to compete in Miss Universe in the first place. For those of you who aren't aware, up until 2012, Miss Universe rules stipulated that only naturally born women were permitted to compete in the international competition, and by extension, in the national pageants that fed into it. This issue came to a head 12 years ago when trans woman Jenna Talakova was initially barred from competing in Miss Universe Canada. After launching a legal challenge to this decision, the Miss Universe organisation eventually stepped in and ruled that Jenna was indeed within her rights to compete. Having hired high-profile lawyer Gloria Allred, known for taking on cases fighting for women's rights, Jenna appeared widely in mainstream media outlets, including in this interview with seasoned journalist Barbara Walters for ABC News America. The interview itself is cringeworthy at times, especially when Barbara asks Jenna what she looks like naked, but on the whole it celebrated trans women's rights to compete on mainstream stages. While Jenna didn't win Miss Universe Canada, she did reach the top 12, her bravery paving the way for the likes of Angela Ponce and Ricky Cole as the first trans women to compete at Miss Universe, and Marina Machete, the first trans woman to place. And most importantly in today's context, it wasn't some faceless employee of the Miss Universe organisation who stated its support for Jenna and indeed a clarification of the rules on trans women competing in their pageant. It wasn't even MUO President Paula Shugart. So, who was it?
We looked at the laws of Canada and we looked at the laws of the United States, and every country is different, but it was obvious to us that she was entitled to compete.
If Jenna should win in Canada in that pageant, can she compete in the World Miss Universe pageant?
Yes.
In the future, can transgender women compete in Miss Universe?
Yes.
That's right. It was Donald Trump himself that went on record to state his support for a transgender woman to compete in the pageant system that he had co-owned for 16 years to that point. This was roughly 3 years before Trump sold his stake in Miss Universe after making offensive remarks about Mexicans as he launched his ultimately successful campaign for US president in 2016. But when he was merely a real estate tycoon and reality TV show host, his views on transgender rights were remarkably more progressive than what they are today. Go figure. So Donald Jr. can exclaim how the woke agenda is being dismantled and that the world is becoming great again. But on this specific topic, he only has to look across the table of his family's private jet, stacked with fast food wrappers, to see the man who created this supposed problem in the first place, Daddy Dearest. Again, none of this excuses, supports, or advocates for any of the behaviour of the current owners. I'm rather choosing to highlight the hypocrisy of some of those making the initial statements. An alternative title for this video was going to be Exposing Anti-Woke Transphobic Hypocrisy, but I didn't think that quite had the right ring to it. Anyway, that's all for today. I'll be back soon with another video, but in the meantime, I'm the Pageant Nerd. Bye for now.